Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. If you want, please turn on your cameras just for a minute, but please mute yourselves. Okay. And welcome everyone to the International Language Coaching Association Expert 21 series, which we've been holding every month for second year running, and we're pretty proud of it. And we've got some amazing presenters so far in the past and also in the future, and today with Laura here. And I'd like to just say one or two ground rules. So I'd like everybody to mute themselves if possible. Turn on your cameras so that we can say hello just for a minute and be, connected this way. Thank you very much for joining us. I know a lot of you are here before, after work, instead of sleeping, I don't know, wherever you're coming from today. And we're really excited today because we've got something really, really special, I think, which is not addressed so very, very often. And I think in coaching, it's a very important topic. And I'm going to give you one or two brief instructions, so to say. So we're going to start with, I'm just admitting people in. I'm going to start by saying it will be interactive through the chat box, and at the end there will be opportunity for Q&A. So if you have any questions, then please give us the answer or the questions in the chat box, or just take a note of it. So that's all. And if there's anything that you want to ask in between, then just in the chat box, okay, if it's relevant and urgent. What else do we have? It'll be about 50-60 minutes, okay, more 60 than 50. And we're going to start with an activity and hopefully end with an activity, okay? And in the meantime, Laura will be guiding us through the exciting things that she has brought for us. And oh yes, and we'd also like to know where you're joining from. So in the chat box, could you just please throw us a country, a city, okay? So I'm just going to put this here. So where are you all from? Please mute yourselves once again, if possible, okay? So that we don't get any, distractions from, okay? So Buenos Aires, Washington, Atlanta, Virginia, okay. Okay, I think we're going to have quite a lot of people from Argentina, okay, so that's going to be something that we have here. And so my name is Gabriela Kovac. I'm a co-founder of the International Language Coaching Association. Welcome everyone, great to see you all here. A lot of familiar faces, a lot of new faces, which is always fantastic to know. And I'm seeing some really good energies somehow. So I see a lot of really positive things happening here. And so once again, about 50-60 minutes for today, and there will be a recording. We are recording with your consent, because for those who cannot join, I think this is an opportunity that we shouldn't really leave out, okay? So thank you very much. You can turn off your cameras if that's okay, if you just want to be, in the background. Eating, drinking is allowed, okay? So that's totally okay. And now turning to Laura, I'd like to just say hello to Laura, and thank you very much for accepting the invitation that we sent you from ILCA to be joining us today. And you're going to be talking about something which I think is relevant for a lot of us, but maybe we don't know too much about it. So it'd be great to explore. You're a teacher of English as a foreign language in Argentina, and you're a coach and an NLP trainer also, so very exciting combination there. And you're also an author of books in Spanish for teachers, and you hold training and coaching events for educational institutions and companies also. Have I left anything else? Anything else that you'd like to say? And I just hand it over to you now. Thank you very much, Laura.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Welcome, everyone. It's so nice to see you there, here. They are here. You're across the ocean and different continents here, sharing this moment. It's very nice, very exciting. So thank you very much for being here. Some of the faces are very familiar. And well, yes, I'm a language teacher, language coach, NLP trainer. And before we start, I will ask you to find a posture that allows you to be comfortable. Sitting upright to help you stay alert and also relaxed. Sit forward a little rather than leaning against the back, allowing your hands to rest easily on your knees or your lap. Let your eyes close gently, or if you prefer, leave them open with a soft, receptive gaze. Arms relaxed by your side, arms and legs uncrossed. Let's make sure you stay awake. And as you settle into stillness, sense that you're pausing, arriving in presence with a gentle attention. Notice the state of your body right now. Take a full deep breath and release it slowly. Slowly enough that you can feel the sensations of the exhale as your breath moves through your chest and your throat and your nostrils. Now allow your breath to resume its natural rhythm and sense that you can relax. You can relax knowing that the earth is supporting you. Notice in this simple presence the state of your body just now. Warm, cool, ease, or tension. Notice too the state of your heart and mind just as it is. Racing or quiet, joyful or sad. Holding it all with soft attention. Continue to simply be aware that you're here, feeling the settled sensations of being present in this moment. Notice that you can become present in the midst of whatever's going on for you, whether it's pleasant or whether there's pain or worry or tension. We are creating a spacious and kind presence, noticing whatever is present just now and taking some moments to relax with it all. Allow yourselves to feel the benefit of simply coming into the present, knowing that you can return to this again and again. Let your intention be to carry this simple presence with you in our session together. Welcome. And you can move your body, be present with your feet, your legs, your torso, your arms and hands, and smile and eyes. And I don't know if you were here last month. Mark Powell explained the difference between language coach, language trainer, and language teacher. If you were not here, you can watch the recording later. When his session finished, I asked myself the question, when did I start being a language coach apart from being a language teacher? My answer was that I became a language coach immediately when I started my career. However, until very recently, I didn't know that at such an early age, I had already made the decision to be much more than a teacher. I was very, very young. I was still studying at teacher training college here in Buenos Aires, Argentina. I remember that day when a desperate young man rang my bell. He was with his also young wife who was holding their baby in her arms. It was May the 1st, a national holiday here in Argentina and in many parts of the world. He needed to learn English urgently. They wanted to emigrate, and the new country required that he had at least survival skills in English. At that moment, IELTS was not used or not a prerequisite. Apparently, they tested the level of English of the candidates very informally in the embassy of the country where he was trying to move. As far as I remember, he had filled in the immigration application form saying he had some basic knowledge of English, what he had learned at secondary school. The officer had trusted this information was true. The interview at the embassy had been in Spanish, our mother tongue. Everything had gone really well. That country needed people with this young man's skills. He had many chances to be accepted. However, when the woman in charge of evaluating him asked him to wait a minute outside her office in English, he left the building because he didn't understand her. A couple of hours later, when he was back at home, he answered her phone call. No cell phones at that time. I don't know if you remember when we didn't have cell phones and things were not immediate. This was some hours later. She told him that she definitely could not recommend him for immigration in her country. He had not understood a very simple, basic request. He implored, begged, "Could you please give me another chance?" She said it was not possible. They had to wait for 1 year before he could apply again. "Give me 1 month and I promise I will be speaking English in our next interview." Nobody can learn in only 1 month, she prophesied. He insisted so much that she decided to destroy all evidence that that interview had existed and gave him another new appointment. So Mario, that was his name, Mario told me that, "Sunny, May the 1st, I have 1 month to get the level to pass that interview. Can you help me?" I was not a graduate teacher yet. I was very inexperienced. However, I felt so moved by his despair and his wife sobbing and the baby and the story of why they had decided to leave the country that I accepted the challenge. "We will try," I offered shyly. "We will do it," he answered with enthusiasm and determination. We agreed he was going to have English lessons every day except Sunday, of course, and he was going to have a lot to do on his own at home during a month. I must confess I had never and have never seen anyone so motivated in my life. Apart from the classes with me, he studied until late every night. The first 2 weeks were incredible. He studied vocabulary, expressions, grammar, and in class he used the language better and better every day. Both of us had a wonderful time together in our meetings. He was learning English and enjoying the process. That became the title of my first book some years later. Everything was perfect until the 3rd week started. After the initial explosion of energy, all his enthusiasm wore down. He started to panic. And one day he categorically announced me he knew he would never make it. He had also realized he was not going to have enough money to pay for all those classes before we finished the intensive month. I looked at him with compassion. He was crying, actually crying like a baby in pain, feeling miserable. He was exhausted because he had not had any free time in 2 weeks, and he was obviously showing signs of burnout. At that moment, I knew he needed much more than a good teacher of English. He needed someone who could listen to what was happening to him internally, someone to support him emotionally, someone to reassure him, get him back on track, and help him to recover his trust in himself. Somebody to help him find a good inner state to continue learning in spite of all the difficulties. At that moment, I thought that that was what a good teacher should do. And everything I did was intuitive. As time went by, I realized that it is very important for us teachers to get trained in state management coaching skills. This is something we don't usually learn at teacher training college or university. How do we empower our students? How do we make them know that we are there for them? How do we foster facilitating beliefs, nurture their sense of self-efficacy? How do we create the conditions for them to acquire the language when they come to our classes in a bad mood, in a poor emotional state, with little sleep, in the middle of a life crisis or a conflict at work? The third week with Mario was a great challenge for both of us. He had a great conflict with his family. His parents were annoyed with him because he had decided to leave the country. So they admonished firmly, "You will never make it. You will be sorry for it." He was sad and furious. His family, the main reason why he wanted to emigrate. That day he came to class and told me about it. And you know what? Most of it was in English. And listen to this. On the third Saturday of our first our English marathon, we discussed philosophy in basic English. On the Thursday of the fourth week, I opened the door to welcome him in, and he was smiling triumphantly. He had never told me that that day was the new interview at the embassy. He had not only passed, but had also been profusely congratulated. "Nobody has ever learned a language in 1 month like you did," the woman acknowledged. So he left the country with his family. He promised to write to me to let me know how he was getting on. But in times of snail mail, apparently his letter got lost, he didn't remember my address, or he never sent a letter. Needless to say, this experience helped me more than it helped him. That day, I knew that I wanted to be much more than a good teacher. Have you ever had experiences like this one? I am sure you have. These moments are so typical in our job, in which teaching, learning, coaching depend much more on the inner states of our learners or coachees than in the quality of the materials we have prepared for them. We often read about the importance of the development of effective strategies in learners. However, little is said about how to foster them. Affective strategies are concerned with the learner's emotional requirements such as confidence, a positive self-concept, and self-efficacy, which is the belief in their own capacity to use the target language. Let's explore ways to support our language coaches by helping them find or create the most appropriate inner state to acquire the language effortlessly. This is what I did with Mario, my first language coachee. We define inner state as mood or present emotion, energy level, how we think, and the way we hold and use our body. To be a language coach, we need knowledge, know what to do, attitudes, willingness to do it, and the skills, knowing how to do it. This is language coaching competence. Competence is a general skill. A skill is a very specific kind of competence. Skill is a term used to refer to something practical, like knowing how to use a program like Word. However, just knowing how to operate it does not mean that one is competent to produce something of value with it. A lot of people can use Word, not everyone uses it to write a book, for example. As language coaches, we appreciate how important it is to find practical ways to get ourselves into the right state. And our role is to provide a sense of safety and structure to the coachee and to give them the confidence to speak in the foreign language. The first requirement to be able to do this is to feel settled and receptive ourselves so we can make a real difference for them. Needless to say, a language learner also needs knowledge, a good attitude, and special skills. So, what is, on the one hand, an inner state conducive to language acquisition, and on the other hand, an inner state that makes people feel stuck? Let's start with the second one. We all have a multi-level and multifaceted set of beliefs that influence our feelings, emotions, motivation, and behavior. These beliefs that we call self-efficacy beliefs are formed with real and also with imaginary experiences, social persuasion, as well as physical and emotional states. These beliefs generate actual performance. There is a close connection between these beliefs and our outcomes. We all know that many language learners have a poor image of themselves as speakers of the new language. Let's remember that beliefs are usually unconscious, and to be able to detect them, we need to work through smoke screens. So as long as we address this issue, we will find it very difficult to actually teach the language, train or coach students. What stops a student from learning a language? Among many possible reasons. You want to talk, Gabriela?
Sorry, we don't see the slides.
I'm not using slides now.
Okay.
No, I'm not using slides now. No, later. Okay. So what stops a student from learning the language? There are many possible reasons. So it could be previous experiences with a language labeled as failure, other experiences that have nothing to do with the language in which they got associated with the feeling of, I can't, this is not for me, etc. Not sure if they want to do it. Thinking they should be doing something else, not knowing how to do it. Setting standards that are too high in a short period of time. Not trusting the teacher or coach, being too stressed or tired. Not having clear if they are acquiring a language as a new tool, a set of new behaviors, or a new identity. Let's go to the slides now. Robert Dills and Stephen Gilligan speak about two states in which a person can be. And we are going to start with the crash state, which is crush with U in my version. Both words, crash and crush, have a special sort of meaning. I don't want to use the word negative, but imagine being in crash or in crush. Feel it in your body. Crash or crush. Robert Dills and Stephen Gilligan are very, very famous coaches in the NLP and generative coaching field. What does crash mean? Crash means contracted. Contracted, the body contracted, the mind contracted, the breathing contracted. Reactive, not taking decisions, but reacting to what is happening rather than deciding new things. A for them is analysis paralysis, analysis with the mind, overthinking. And for me, it's with you because it's unable to speak the language. So this is my version. S, separated. What do we mean by separated? Separated from themselves, separated from other people, feeling separated from existence in general, not feeling supported. And the H stands for hurting, hating, hitting. Crash state is one of the reactions to conflict, to life in general. A definition of crash is also neuromuscular lock. Some part of the body is tense, energy is not circulating there. People can do fight, flight, freeze, or fold in this state. What do we mean by fight? Always reacting, always finding conflict, always feeling that there is a problem in the situation. Notice in the picture how the woman is tensing her face, her forehead, her mouth, her jaw, her hands. Flight? Well, smoking, drinking, trying to avoid the problem, watching too much TV, really not facing what is happening, not being in charge of the, in this case, learning situation. Freeze. Look at the picture. When we are in freeze state, we don't act, we don't react, we do nothing. In general, in cases of trauma or post-trauma states, people are in freeze state in the sense that they can't go on. And many times our students are in freeze mode when they come to see us. Mario was in freeze mode that day when his parents got so angry with him and he got angry with them. He was in fight at moments, in freeze, in others. And something else that can happen is that we can be, or our coaches can be in fold, going inside, not connecting with the materials, with us, with the rest of the world. On the other hand, the state that we propose, that Robert Dills and Stephen Gilligan propose, and that I want to share with you today, is the coach state. And coach stands for see, center, connect. Center yourself, especially in your belly center. You know, we have different centers: the mind, brain center, the heart center, and the belly center. So when we center ourselves, especially in the belly center, we stop being so much in the mind, with those beliefs that tell us, you can't, this is too difficult, you will never be able to do it. So when we center ourselves, especially in the heart center or in the belly center, the mind slows down and we connect. And we open to our field of awareness. In the previous exercise, when we started, the invitation was exactly to open. If there is something tense in the body, when we open it, when we, through breathing, dissolve that neuromuscular block, we begin to be more attentive and more open to new learning, new materials, new connections. A stands for attend. Attend to what is going on within us and around us. The C is connect with yourself, with other people, to the larger system. And the H is hold. Hold whatever is happening with resourcefulness and curiosity. Hold both the resources and the obstacles to the objective, which in this case is acquiring the new language. So there are 6 elements of language coaching intervention, as far as I see it. One is the desired state, the goal connected with the target language. In this case, Mario needed to acquire some very basic communication skills in 1 month. That sounded impossible, but we knew we had resources. The point is that the present state, that May the 1st, that sunny May the 1st, that I will always remember so well, is that what they can do with the language now. And the truth was that he could do nothing. So we drew achievement maps. How are we going to do it? We decided that he would come every day, several hours per day. He was going to do homework. And we were going to use the language. Resources. He had a lot of resources, internal and external. His most important resource was his motivation, his enthusiasm, his determination. External, well, we had materials and he had me as a teacher, coach. Obstacles. Of course, there were lots of obstacles. The first obstacle was too little time. The family against him. Not enough money to pay for the classes. The moment he felt he was never going to do it. And the underlying context, that is whether the coachee is in coach state or crash state, is the one that determines the way we handle the resources, the obstacles, the way we move in those along those achievement territories, and we can get to the present state. So I will show you another way to see this. So we have all the elements: present state, desired state, action plans, resources, obstacles. The one that determines the success is the context. And the context is the inner state of both coach and coachee. So we are going to analyze Mario's case. He needed to speak basic English in 1 month. When he was in crash state, can you write it in the chat? What happened to him when he was in crash? And I don't know if I will be able to see it. So Gabi, you can probably read it for me.
I will. Yes. Okay.
Okay. So this question is for you. What happened when he was in crash state after the 2nd week?
Let's see. Okay, we've got one answer. Ricardo saying ruminating on what he couldn't do.
What else?
Virginia saying he was fearful and contracting. Caroline saying he lost confidence and lost focus on the ultimate goal. Kathy saying it blocked his progress. Mariella saying he froze. Karina says sense of failure. Ricardo again activating the mighty amygdala. Okay. Maria saying with fear that he would not be able to make it. So lots of fear going on here, in a state of panic, says Elizabeth. Kathy feeding the monster.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you see that, but this is typical. We have students in those states quite often. And when he was in coach state, what happened when he was in coach state and he was so enthusiastic and he believed he could do it? So when he was in coach state, can you write it in the chat box?
What did he feel, experience in coach state? Okay, Monica saying he was confident that he would make it. Karina, he connected. Ricardo, he felt in control and had certainty. Michelle saying he was motivated. Virginia saying more dopamine, less cortisol led to self-belief and motivation. Maria, he was receptive, open to learning and feelings. Mariella saying he opened up, so lots of openness and motivation here. Confident, believed in himself. Elizabeth, thank you. Okay.
Yeah. So there was self-connection, committing to intention or goal, developing a centered, open, creative state, taking action steps, engaging, transforming obstacles, commitment to daily practices. We had all that when he was in coach state. So how do we do this with our students? And how do we get into coach state ourselves before meeting the students? Let's do some practice. So let me close the presentation. I have it open here. Okay. Okay. So you know that the most important thing to get into coach state is to learn how to pause. We live in this stressful time. The demands and fast pace of our culture make us lose connection, especially with ourselves. Our students land in our sessions in the middle of their life, and they land with tension, worries, and neuromuscular block. And so do we. The way to change this begins right where you are with increasing awareness. It is essential to invite ourselves to arrive in the present moment. It teaches us to be comfortable in our own skin, to feel at home with others, and to release stress and anxiety. The great challenge of our times is to become mindful and soulful, paying attention to what is happening inside and outside us in the present moment. This begins exactly with that. It's incredibly simple, a pause. Imagine being at home watching a Netflix, Amazon series, immersed in a fast-paced, tense scene. Suddenly the screen freezes. No longer swept away in the action, you become aware of where you are, the people around you, the sounds and colors, the pulsing tension in your body, and what you are thinking and feeling. This is what is available for us in a pause. So learning to pause in the midst of our life brings us back to what's actually happening. We're not caught up in the scene, and in the space of pause, we can see more clearly and confidently. We let go of our neuromuscular blocks and we let language flow through us. So imagine starting every session assisting your coachees to stop and connect with themselves and their inner resources. Imagine what it would be like if both of you created the ritual to pause, breathe, and create a space of more clarity and resourcefulness. You can then respond in a more skillful, kind, and balanced way. Even with a short pause creating a clearing, you can begin to sense more aliveness, clarity, and heart. So let's begin our practice. So again, I invite you to settle into comfortable posture if you are not there yet, if you have moved away from it, or if you arrived a bit later. Ideally sitting in a way that allows you to be alert and also at ease. And gently close your eyes, allowing yourself to go inward, setting your intention right from the start for a relaxed presence. And as you come into stillness, let your attention rest on the breath. Let's take a deep in-breath now, filling the chest, filling the lungs, and then now slowly release, sensing yourself, relaxing outward and letting go. And again, another in-breath, filling the chest, filling the lungs, and a slow out-breath, releasing, relaxing, and letting go. Now, as your breath resumes in its natural rhythm, sense that you can continue to relax with the inflow and outflow of the breath. Feel your body breathing, your body sitting here, noticing contact points, the pressure or warmth where your bottom contacts the chair, the sensations of your feet on the ground, and feel that secure connection, that groundedness, that you're resting on the earth. Now bring a relaxed attention to your eyes and allow them to soften, letting the brow be smooth, relaxed. Allow your jaw to be unhinged and relax the root of your tongue. You might sense a small but real smile at the lips and a smile inside the mouth. Bring your awareness inside your shoulders and let them go. You might imagine this like ice dissolving to water and then water to gas, ice to water, water to gas. Let the hands rest in an easy, effortless way. Soften them. As you soften, you might see if you can feel your hands from the inside out, noticing the sensations, tingling, pulsing, maybe warmth. Let your chest be open, feeling the sensations of the heart area, softening, letting go. Allow the belly to be loose and relaxed. You might see if you can receive your next breath in a softening belly. This breath, and now this one, and again. Relaxing through the entire pelvic region, releasing any holding or tightness. Relaxing down through the legs, the feet. Now open to feeling the body all at once as a field of sensation. Sense your own calm, open presence, feeling the gentle movement of the breath, witnessing the changing dance of aliveness. If you notice that your attention becomes distracted, gently return. Come back to this feeling of aliveness in the body. A relaxed, present attention. Often when the mind wanders, the body tenses up. As you arrive back right here, you might relax. You can start fresh in any moment, consciously relaxing again. Letting go through the shoulders, softening the hands, loosening the belly, arriving again in a calm presence, and feeling the moment-to-moment experience of life living through you. Notice the feeling of pressure, of warmth where your bottom contacts the seat. Feel the places of contact where your hands rest on your legs or touch each other, where your feet contact the floor or the ground. Let yourself also be aware of the feeling of your clothing as it touches your skin and the air as it touches your face. Keeping your eyes closed and opening the senses. Letting your awareness take in the play of images and light at the eyelids. You might notice a flickering of light and dark or shapes. Take a few moments to attend to noticing with relaxed, receptive awareness. Feeling your breath and sense the space around you. Being receptive to any sense that might be in the air. Discover what it's like to smell and receive the odors that are present just where you are. Now let your awareness open. Open to the sounds around you. Receive the symphony of sounds and let it wash through you. Soft sounds or loud. Not just with your ears, but with your whole awareness. Take a few moments to listen to the play of sounds and the space between sounds. Now with the same receptivity, come back to sense the sensations and aliveness in your body. Bring your awareness to your hands, feeling the sensations there, inside the soles of your feet, inside your chest and head. Invite your awareness to feel your whole body and sense your physical form as a field of changing sensations. Tingling, vibration, heat, cool, hard, soft, tight or flowing. And now let all your senses be wide open together. Your body and mind relaxed and receptive. Allow life to flow freely through you, sensing your moment-to-moment experience. Present to what is here and now. Let yourself appreciate this awake interspace of presence and the full aliveness that is here. As you complete this practice of awakening your senses, know that you can bring this same alert, open awareness to whatever you are doing next. To pause at work, to be aware of sounds and sensations, and the life of the senses brings you fully present. So take a deep breath in and out. And you can slowly and gently open your eyes and start to move. And you know what? I had forgotten Mario's surname when it came to me, when I decided to talk about him in this talk some days ago. What was his name? What was his name? So last Monday, after 35 years, I tried to find him to see how he was. I had not heard about him since 1986, last century. Last Monday, I found him in LinkedIn. I read he has made a wonderful career. And I discovered that the day I started to think about him to prepare this talk, he posted something about how important it is to care about other people. He wrote this on his LinkedIn page. Asking, "Are you okay?" isn't just about what you say, but what you do. Little things can make a big difference. When you ask someone, "How are you?" as you're walking past, stop and wait for their response. That way they'll know you really do care. And I wrote a message to him. He hasn't answered yet. So I will be very happy to know about his life after 35 years. So I think thank you. I think we have some minutes to ask questions, to make comments, to share what you felt while doing this practice. If you want to start practicing this, I recommend Tara Brach's page. You have a lot of free audios, free materials to practice yourselves. Tara? You want me to write it? Okay, just
Just spell it.
yes.
Tara.
Tara.
Hmm?
Tara Brach. I don't remember if Tara is with an H at the end, or if it's like this. Tara Brach. You Google her, you go to her webpage, and there are, I don't know, 3 or 4 free courses with audios, with scripts that you can use on yourselves and you can use in your classes as well.
Caroline's saying it's H at the end, so it's correct.
It's H at the end. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Wonderful. So any questions or any experience during this talk and the activities that you'd like to share with us, you're very welcome to share here in this very secure, very relaxed state, I think, that we are in now. So any comments, ideas coming from you? I can see a lot of smiles. Yeah, Karina.
Yes, hello. Hi, Laura, how are you doing?
Hi, Karina.
A pleasure, always. Yes, I wanted to ask you, how do you usually handle with coachees resistant to start practicing this kind of strategy or approaches? Because usually students, usually in business settings, are very resistant to this kind of approach. And we have to break the ice many times.
Yeah, there are different ways to be connected. We can do it through humor. We can do it through gentle exercise. The point is that at the very beginning, you go slowly. You suggest that there are things that you can do to feel better. And if they know that they are working with a language coach, this is something different. It's not like a traditional class. So if we are at a company, they know that, okay, they will be closing their eyes or doing different things. So they close the door. They will know that if they come to you and you have different resources, and if you work with NLP, for example, you will be doing different things. And yes, it's true, some students are resistant. So you pace, you establish rapport, you pace, and then you lead. And then if one day you forget, but it's not that you will be doing this all the time. Sometimes it's sharing a story, sometimes it's playing a game, sometimes, but when you know that they are in crash or crush, well, this is a wonderful resource to bring them back, or to invite them into coach state.
Clear, thank you.
And Ricardo?
Hello, everybody.
To see
Just
you.
something quick, because I have a class now. As regards classes in corporate settings, what I do is to make attendees aware of what thoughts are. So they are thinking about, suppose, the presentation for the next Q. So it is of utmost importance to make them aware that the brain uses only 3 ingredients: visual images, auditory images, and body sensations. And if they want to create well-being, a resourceful emotional state, an ecological emotional state, they need to become aware of the fact that the visual and the auditory images create electricity. And with the electricity is at the high beta level, that is, I'm ruminating about, oh my God, in the next Q presentation, I will have to speak to the VP and my conditionals are terrible. What if? Well, if you are immersed in that storm, you are creating toxicity. So please wake up. Wake up and be in control of your mind. You are the director of the movie. So I am very strict. I bully them. I push them. I'm a very tough coach. And I say, wake up. The road to wellness is in your hands. So please, if you need to focus on the negative, listen to the inner critic and say, yes, I need to improve the conditionals, I need to improve this, but spend, let's say, 1 hour. But after that, focus on the positive so that you can create the electricity that is at the alpha level that will allow you to activate neurocircuits in the brain that release dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and the endorphins. If you are ruminating on the negative things, you're activating the amygdala, and the amygdala says, hey, the army, we are in danger, we are gonna be eaten by a lion. So electricity is sent to the suprarenals begin to release cortisol and adrenaline, and then you have the 3 Fs. You fight, you freeze, or you faint, or you fight. This fight. Yeah. So you fight.
Unfold.
You flee, escape, flee, or freeze. So, and then I say, is this, are you God models to your children? How come you cannot focus on this concentration practice that we're doing now, 5 minutes, and you can control your children? I really don't understand. This is something wrong there. I think you must be so they really, I have lots of coachees, lots of students. I've been working for the same company now for 45 years, which is for Pfizer, 45 years in the same. But the idea is, please be strong. Wake them up. Use what in meditation, in Buddhism, we call the root awakening. Slap them. Come on, life is too short. You need to be in control of your brain or your mind. So this is what, and I bring in the neurosciences. So then when they understand that thoughts are visual, auditory images that trigger body sensation, that is to say emotion, which is energy in motion, well, I need to create well-being. I am very stupid if I allow my brain to focus on toxicity. I don't mean to say to ignore that. No.
The important thing for us, language coaches, is to make that this distinction, to notice when we are in coach and when we are in crash or crush. And then, yes, all the interventions, thank you, Ricardo, for all your tips. All the interventions are possible, different kinds of interventions. This one, games, a nice talk. Well, you are very resourceful, you know how to do it. The important thing is to know how we are before we start our session, and to detect how the coachee comes. If the coachee is using the resources, or if the coachee is in freeze or fold or fight or flight state.
This morning, I had a session with a lovely group of ladies, three ladies in a corporate setting online. And I asked them, what was you bringing today into the class? And I gave them an example of mine, and what is it that you'd like to remove from today's session? And it was very nice. And then we did a bit of skills training on people management, how to manage people. And we did a quick SWOT analysis on that. And at the end, I asked for feedback, and they said, well, it was very nice to be focused on ourselves, and that you really get us involved in the skills development from a very personal and professional side. So I think it just increases their awareness of what's going on in the session.
Yes, and this is not obvious, because a lot of people are not aware of their bodies, physical bodies. I mean, they come to class only with their minds or with their brains, but it's the whole body that learns and that acquires the language. And it's the body that holds the tension, the neuromuscular block. So it is very, very important to attend to the bodies as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Can we do this maybe like in regular teaching class, maybe with some breathing exercises, because there's no time, you know, to do like meditation, but maybe at least having them, you know, being centered and, you know, starting the session from a different.
Of course, place. You can even dance, depending on the setting of where you're giving the class, but you can even dance. You can even do some yoga. Now that we are coaching on Zoom, well, I do a lot of that. Okay, well, if they are okay, they are okay. But if they are in crash, okay, let's make an intervention there.
And how can we really diagnose this crash state? I'm sorry, I was not from the very beginning there, but is it like the certain sentences, or like how can you know that this is really like has gone so far that
you Swada, you notice their body. If the body is folding or tense, if the voice doesn't come out well because there is a lot of tension here, if they can't concentrate, if they tell you, oh, it's been such a busy week, oh, I wanted the promotion and I didn't get it, and if they jump from one topic to the other, if the jaw is tense, well, if we
it's more like their let's say body language and their distracted way of speaking, that
yes. The body, I mean, the non-verbal language gives us a lot of information. Yes.
also the sound that they make. So whether they've got a very dry throat, their intonation also can change when they're more stressed, right? So that sort of thing.
Yes, or you see that they are too tired. Sometimes they come to class after work and they are really exhausted. So okay, let's do something. It could be poetry, as somebody said. It could be movement. It could be music. Something to create the dopamine, the endorphins, everything that Ricardo mentioned before leaving. Yes, and this is our own exploration and connection with our coaches. Here, Kathy says let me see. Taking even a minute of meditation, stretches and movement is transforming to focus for the session. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, because it's always a bit weird in the online setting, like when you have in the class, it's easy to stand up and do things, but in the virtual settings, it seems a little bit weird to suddenly do some movements or
it
kind of, I don't know.
It depends on where your student is. If the student is in his or her bedroom with the door closed, they can move. Well, if they are at a cafeteria with a computer, that is more difficult. But yes, something even small. I mean, releasing the shoulders and moving the wrists or the ankles and wiggling the toes and the fingers. But that already brings people back to their bodies, and they stop having these inner conversations. Oh, I haven't studied for today, or I will have a meeting later, or I'm too tired. I mean, going down to the pelvis, to the feet. That's
and this is
well,
also,
don't believe me, try it yourself.
this is also for students who are fearing the session itself, because they are with other peers and they fear judgment or making mistakes, or just not feeling comfortable because maybe they are not so good as the others. Is it also like this?
Yeah, in that case, we could probably address to what I said at the beginning, their notion of self-efficacy. We would need another workshop for this, because I just mentioned that topic, the beliefs about their own possibilities. So working on their beliefs as learners, as the beliefs they have in connection with a foreign language. Some people associate English with countries they like and they learn it very well. But if they don't like the countries that speak English as a mother tongue, well, they will have a lot of resistance to learning the language. In general, you learn a language better when you admire the culture or the country that speaks that language. If you have some ideas or judgments against the culture, you will not learn the language easily. So a good idea is to address the beliefs that people have in connection with the language they are learning. They are sometimes required to learn. They don't want to learn the language, but they must learn it. In the case of English, English is the lingua franca now, and everybody is learning it. I mean, most people are learning English.
Yeah, it's like creating supportive, having them have supportive thoughts and
yeah, support absolutely. And I think even if it's the breathe in, breathe out, that can be the help, the support that a client needs at that moment. And it's not a particularly intrusive way of bringing them to be centered, so you're not giving lots of instructions, because some people can be quite sensitive to I didn't come here for a yoga class, so that kind of attitude can be quite negative to others in the class maybe. But I think it's fine to say, okay, let's just let things go and let's just focus on us being here, being present. I think presence is one of those things which, even if we're not approaching this from a neuroscience way, we still feel that being present can have quite a lot of takeaways for anyone in a session, you know. So it's more, I don't know, more generally accepted maybe, you know, to being present, to understanding where you're coming from, where you are. So and all this just starts building on that sense of being present. And I think that's a very strong connection for everyone, and something that everyone can understand. I don't know, Laura, if that's clear or not what I'm saying.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, if we are not here, if the student is not here, if the coach is not here, connection is impossible. Learning is impossible. So the first thing, to be here.
How can we contribute through our body language or voice to maybe creating this connection or ease?
Well, one thing is to practice. First, to practice ourselves as coaches. That's why I recommended, I do recommend Tara Brach's mini courses. They are free. So practice yourself. And I think there are, as I told you before, 3 or 4 courses with a lot of practice. So take some time, do that yourself for some time, and then you will know what to do. In connection with how to read body language, well, a good NLP course can teach you how to read, connect with established rapport with the body, not only with what you say, but also with your body position. That is something that you learn in the very first few modules of a good NLP course.
Yes, I think this is also important, that because we are also as coaches or teachers in our head and not so aware of, like maybe we know it in theory, but we are not really connected to our bodies. And then of course it affects, especially now also in the online settings, it's a little bit more maybe challenging to replicate like real life situations, just like, so I think it's even more important.
I think first we have to be very much aware, and if we can embody the change that we want to evoke in our clients, then that's okay.
Yes.
If we ourselves are tense, we can't use our bodies to communicate in a way that we want to, like using very open body language, working with our own voices, controlling our own fears of whatever we might have, and we're not sending an authentic message. So it's definitely something I think we have to concentrate on all the time. I'm also aware of the time. I'm sorry to cut this in half,
sorry,
because we could go on and on, but I'm seeing quite a lot of you also leaving. So I'd like to close this slowly and first of all say very, very, very much, I'm very honored that Laura accepted our invitation again. It was a fantastic experience, even though I find it very difficult myself to meditate, but that's a different issue. But I really enjoyed this bodily physical sensations that happened during the activities, and of course the presentation was marvelous. Any final comments, I don't know, in the chat or just sharing with us? Laura, how was it for you? How did you feel in this space?
Great. I'm so happy to see new faces and familiar faces. I'll be now I'm reading where people are from. So Monica, you're from Germany. and Suada, where are you from? Because you arrived later.
I'm from Bosnia and Herzegovina, Southeast Europe.
Okay. And Bettina, is it Greece?
Oh, no, my father was. I'm from the US, in the Chicago area, but been there many times.
Okay. Maria Eugenia, are you from Argentina?
Yes, I'm from Argentina, specifically from Venado Tuerto in Santa Fe. Yes. And I'm a fan of your books and all the things that you do, and well, so I was very happy to see that you were in this talk and having the possibility to be here. Yes. So and thank you, Ilka, that I follow you since the very beginning. Right.
Very much, yeah.
It's nice to see Mariela, Karina, Lore, and well, Carolina, Ricardo, they have left, and well, some other people who have left too. So celebration of learning.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's going to be the title. Yes, okay. I'm just taking notes here, so when I'm going to be posting something afterwards, then what? So celebration of learning. I think that kind of sums up the whole thing very nicely. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to be stopping us here. Okay, the recording is available. I did put the link in, but of course you can just Google International Language Coaching Association on YouTube. And our website will have has lots of things. I've just recently had a few interviews. They're also available on LinkedIn and Facebook here and there. So do check these out. And thank you everyone for spending time with us. And I'm sure that we're celebrating learning today, tomorrow, and forevermore, hopefully. So thank you very much. I'm going to be closing this now. Goodbye. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.